Hello everyone! After the tutorial on an easy way to do tubular cast-on for 1x1 rib, some of you asked me, would this way also work for 2x2 rib? If you haven't seen this tutorial, check the line in the description area. In this lesson, I will show you how I use the same method to make a 2x2 rib. I love this method because it looks neat and it's very simple even for beginners. That is actually the reason why I got so many comments. You told me that you were amazed at how simple it is to make and how beautiful and advanced your knitting looks now. Let us start. In this case, I do the rib for the neck part of the sweater. I want it to be as stretchy as possible, therefore the way I cast it on matters. To make the rib stretchy, I have two options, depending on what I have available. Here I have, for example, needles I'm going to knit the rib with. The size is 3.5 mm. To cast on the first row of stitches, I want to use at least one size bigger needles, better 1.5 mm bigger or even 2. You can also use two needles together, but if length allows it. Another option is to use a thick waste yarn. Here I have yarn that is quite thick compared to the yarn I will use for the rib. But I would prefer bigger needles, to be honest, as I find this way more appropriate. However, if you don't have bigger needles, then use much thicker waste yarn. I think after you try both ways and experiment with sizes and thickness, you will find your own way how to make the perfect rib. After all, I decided to use bigger needles, but short ones, as we need to cast just half stitches of the number we need. To cast on the first row of stitches, I use the waste yarn the same thickness as my main yarn, but very important to use a contrast color. The color that you will differ from the main one. I'm going to use this one, very easy to see. Another point that we remember about the 2x2 rib is that the final number has to be divisible by 4. I will take a simple number, 100 stitches. I take the contrast waste thread and start casting on only half stitches, therefore 50 stitches. I also take one stitch more to join the round. Here join the round and have 50 stitches in total. This needle is only 40 cm long, but still a bit too long for this number of stitches. Sometimes it's more convenient to use double pointed needles instead. The next step is to join the main thread what I want to use for the rib. Next rows I will just do purling. You can do purl stitches any way you've learned, using the back or front loops. Most important that stitches are not twisted at the end. Shortly said, you need to get 3 regular purl rows, and as you see, I'm still using big needles. When 3 purl rows are ready, I change needle size to the size I want to make the rib with, here 3.5 mm. The next row is a crucial one. The magic begins right here. I start with the 2 purl stitches. As I'm already making the rib, next 2 stitches are supposed to be knit stitches. Them I need to lift up from the loops of the first row. You can see these loops in between the contrast thread. I pick up the first loop. I need to find the very first one and make a knit stitch from it. Then the next one and knit stitch again. That is how I've got 2 knit stitches. Then I do 2 purl stitches again from the needle. after 2 stitches using the loops of the first row. I always looking for the first stitch in the row and don't miss any. This way I continue until the end of the row. If I do everything right, my last stitches will be 2 knit stitches and the total number will be doubled, therefore 100 stitches as I planned in the very beginning. I don't need any more waste thread and can carefully cut it off. That is actually why we use a contrast thread. Finally, I keep knitting my rib until I reach the desired height. The rib is ready and that is how it looks like. If you like the tutorial, don't forget to like it. I hope it will be helpful for your current and future knitting projects. Thank you, bye bye!